Hey guys, OG Albine here, bringing you guys my APA Academy Season 2 Week 7 battle against Kohan and his Reno Raikou. Very cool dude, very talented battler as well. He definitely knows what he's doing in the format. He took over for a team like post-draft that he's definitely not comfortable with. It's a cool little rain team, but it's definitely not the best, constructed team. But he's performing phenomenally with it this season. I believe he is 5-1 going into this week, so he's definitely making the best out of a team that he wouldn't necessarily be too comfortable with, so that's pretty awesome there. Hopefully we can knock him down in his win streak right here, though. I think we definitely have the team to do it. Unfortunately, there is no team builder. I ran really far behind on videos this last couple weeks just because of school kicking my butt, and just been really tough to get videos recorded and stuff like that. So I don't have a team builder. I am going to leave a paste of the team in the description below, though, if any of you want to check it out. It's a really cool build too, so I'm sad I didn't get to show it off in a team builder and explain exactly what all the EVs do. But if you want to go check that out, definitely do so down in the description. It was definitely a fun team to build. But really quick, I'm going to go over Kohan's roster and then our roster. Our last time using this roster, spoilers, we actually made 7 total transactions going into the game after this. We made 3 trades, all with JB, the coach of the Arkansas Razorwinds, I believe, and then we made 4 drops after that using all 5 of our transactions, drop transactions for the season. But yeah, let's get into it. We're getting a little sidetracked. This is like my 4th video of the night, if you can't tell. I'm like totally bulk recording these out. But our team, if you did forget, let's see if I can remember it. It consists of Deoxys Attack, Naganadel, Jirachi, Tyranitar, the Gramble, the Mega Garchomp. I'm trying to think, because I dropped all these and they're gone now. The Piloswine and Stoutland. There might be another few, but you know what? It's fine. I'm going to do a little transaction video saying exactly what I dropped and what I picked up in the next week. But you can see the 6 we brought on the screen. We brought Keldeo, Naganadel, Gramble, Jirachi, Tyranitar, and Mega Garchomp. Man, this is... Oh, and we have Mega Garchomp on our team. This video is an absolute mess. I can't wait to record the rest of it. But our opponent's team, I can at least read what he has and not be as, in the dark about that, I guess. He has the Mega Latias, the Blaziken, Clefable, Scizor, Thundurus T, Jellicent, Drapion, Steelix, Selgor, Pelipper, Kingdra, and Virizion, with the Z users being Thundy T, Kingdra, and Virizion. Now, right off the bat, his rain is really threatening to me. I kind of lose to Kingdra. I definitely lose to Scizor. That mon is terrifying versus me. Blaziken, if there is no rain up, runs through me. And Mega Latias is very scary. Despite his team being very mad, I think it matched up pretty well versus our team. But we came out with a pretty cool team. Quick rundown. I'm bringing a Sub-Toxic Protect Keldeo with Scald. Very cool little mixed EV spread as well to take hits from things while still dishing out decent damage with Scald on the mons that don't resist it. We are bringing a Habanberry Nasty Plot 3 attacks, speed boosting the Naganadel, which is going to serve as our main win con in this late game. We are bringing a pretty bulky but pretty attack invested Gramble. They believe Earthquake, Fire Punch, Heal Bell, and Roar. Yeah, not Earthquake. Play Rough, Fire Punch, Roar, and Heal Bell. And then we are bringing a Wish Protect Jirachi with Iron Heads and Headbutt. We are pretty heavily attack invested. We're not super spadef, but we still are a Wish supporting set for stuff like Gramble and stuff like our Tyranitar. We're rocking out with an Eye Papa Berry set with Pursuit, Stone Edge, and I believe Superpower and Roar. The Superpower is mostly for a Mega Latias that wants to be Reflect type versus us. It also hits Steelix for super effective damage, although not for a super big amount. And then we have a pretty bulky SD Rocks Mega Garchomp right here with just Edgequake, Stealth Rock, and Sword Dance, obviously. But yeah, with that being said, I do want to lead off with my Keldeo. I feel like it puts off a lot of pressure on his team, especially if he wants to lead with the Steelix and potentially try and get up rocks on my team. Keldeo is a really good option to kind of circumvent that. If he leads anything other than the Latias or the Pelipper, I can basically throw up a free sub, which is kind of what I want to go for right here. So we do get that play right, as he does end up leading off with the Steelix, which is, again, really nice here. This gives me a pretty free sub. I doubt he's going to want to stay in. Even if he does, I get a free sub off if he gets up his rocks, and then I throw off a either a Scald or a Toxic or something like that. So we're going to go throw up the Substitute as he does go into Latias as expected. This is completely fine. We're going to get a little bit of lefties back. And this plus, Sub and Protect is going to keep our Keldeo pretty healthy in this game. As you're going to see in this early game, this Mon is obnoxious for him to deal with. And I feel a little scummy for bringing the set, but I figured it was my best set in the matchup, being that he had Mega Latias as well as a Pelipper as well as a Jellicent. So he is going to go for the Psychic Revealing. He does have Psychic Stab, which is, very, very expected versus my team, to be honest, as I am just going to go for a big Toxic. Now, Toxicing this thing, if he is not Refresh, is absolutely amazing. It lets, potentially Jirachi just absolutely beat it down, even if he is, a really, really bulky Calm Mindset. If he's poisoned, he's not going to be able to boost up on me forever. It also puts him into range of Dragon Pulse neutrally from Naganadel, which can also be really, really nice. It puts him in range of, Pursuit from Tar, stuff like that. So right here, he is going to pull switch out into Steelix, trying to catch the double into what I want to say is going to either be Jirachi or the Grand Ball, probably Jirachi. But we're just going to go for Protect there, kind of starting to see what he wants to do. But this is going to allow me to go for just another free sub right here. He can pull the switch out into his Mega Latias. I'm really wishing I had Rock Sub this early in the game, because this would be amazing. We'd be chipping down his team like crazy right now. But we're going to get up another sub here, which is great. He's forced to stay in and try and break our sub right here, which allows him to take even more Toxic Chip, which is great. I'm going to throw up a Protect. Just able to, residually wear this thing down, which is, again, really nice. Oop, didn't mean to pause it. I am going to speed it up a little bit because this part of the game is pretty long and it's pretty redundant at this point. He's going to go for a Recover on my obvious Protect turn, which is a fair play for sure. He wants to obviously not waste his Psychic PP and, get the most out of his turns and stuff like that. So he is going to go for a Psychic, break my sub. This is completely fine. I just go for a Scald. I'm chipping this thing down slowly. It takes a Scald chip, which does absolutely nothing, but that compounded with 3 turns of poison is going to really start adding up, and we can potentially really break this thing down. So right here, I'm going to go out into my Tyranitar. That's probably what he doubled on the Steelix. I was trying to catch T-Tar too, because it's a pretty obvious switch into the Latias. As he's going to go for the Recover right here, he is starting to use up that PP though, and waste those down, which is great. He's going to take a bunch of Sand Chip and then a little bit of Poison Chip, which is again great. Actually, I believe it was Crunch on this set, not Pursuit, because I probably would have went for it right there. But right here, he is going to pull the switch out into Steelix as I make a nice little double into my Keldeo, which again gives me a free Substitute. I believe I go for a sub on this turn. No, I just go for a Scald, expecting him to want to stay in, maybe to try and catch my sub and break it with Earthquake, chip me down with Sandstorm and stuff like that. But he is going to go into his Latias, get down to about half after, Poison and Sand Chip and the Scald and all that stuff, as I am going to pull the switch. I wish I stayed in and clicked sub on this thing, but unfortunately I did not. He is going to go for the Recover, get back up to basically full. If I would have gotten off the sub right there, I could have really worn this thing down with Sand plus Poison. But right here, I'm going to go into my Jirachi. He's going to pull the switch out into his Steelix. I'm just going to go straight for a Wish. I knew the switch is pretty obvious, but if I get the Wish and then I can go into something like Keldeo or something like that, I could potentially, really heal myself up if he goes for Earthquake. But he makes a smart play, goes for the Stealth Rock right here, which again, completely fine. And I'm going to go for a Substitute this turn, as he actually does end up going for the Earthquake. So this time he does make the play that I expected him to do in the first instance. So, oh well, not too big of a deal. I'm not too scared of this Steelix. If he wants to stay in again, that's completely fine. I can do a bunch with Scald, and if not, he's still going to slowly take chip from the Scald. We're putting him in range where he's forced into Recover turns with the Latias, so it's not too big of a deal here, as I am going to get a little bit of Lefty's recovery back as he is hurt by his Poison. As I go for a Protect right here, I believe he goes for a Recover, so this is another turn in which I'm kind of playing a little passively on this Latias. If I really want to chip it down, I have to play aggressively on these Recover turns and stuff like that. But it's unfortunate, but oh well. I'm going to stay in right here and make a really questionable play. I really threw away this great early game that I was playing. And I'm going to go for a sub as he ends up going for the Toxic. I was trying to catch his double out into Steelix or something like that. I figured it was a pretty obvious switch on his end. But again, there was no reason for me to overplay right there. That covered the Tyranitar switch, and if I want Rachi, he has good responses to it. So my Keldeo is much, much less useful, but if I can get a Heal Bell off with my Gramble, that would obviously be great. I'm going to go for a Scald, and in the rain, it does like a good 35% to this Pelipper, showing me that he is most definitely an offensive Pelipper. He's not like super, super bulky. So I'm going to slow it back down a little bit here. We'll go 1.25 just because that, oh no. just because that's a little bit faster, and we'll get through the game a little bit quicker. But yeah, I'm going to pull the switch out into my T-Tar right here, as he does go for a pretty obvious roost. I figured this would be a nice play to get out into my T-Tar for free. I didn't think Scald was out coming there, and I knew that I'm slowly getting chipped by my own poison beyond my sub, despite my, residual lefties recovery. As he is going to go for the Scald, which is completely fine, as I end up going for the superpower. I went for the superpower sticking with Steelix. This really did surprise me. I figured out that after the game that he was actually Charty Berry, so the play definitely makes sense if he could, get the burn on me or something like that. And he also could probably live, a Stone Edge from there as well. So I am going to pull the switch out. My Tyranitar still definitely has its uses. I'm going to go out into my Mega Garchomp right here, as he does end up going for the Roost, which is definitely a very, very fair play. If I wanted to go for the Stone Edge that turn, then he Roosts, and he takes, a lot less damage from it, just due to the fact that he loses flying typing and all that stuff. But right here, I'm going to go into my Garchomp, like I said. I'm going to Mega Evolve because I know I can live any one hit from this thing, even a very, very offensive Ice Beam. And I'm going to go for the Stealth Rock just to get those up versus his team, because breaking sturdies and, chipping down his team is obviously really nice. He does show the Ice Beam. He does go for it. We do, however, live it like I said we would. And he is going to be buffed by the Sandstorm, as I'm just going to go for a Dragon Claw right here. I believe earlier I said that he was going to be that I was an Edgequake sit, but I was actually, Swords Dance Dual Steps. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw. He actually turns out to be Rocky Helmet Licks, which is very, very annoying. It's going to take out my Garchomp right here, which is going to be the first casualty of this game. But again, not too big of a deal. At least I get to go back out into my Keldeo, potentially put on pressure with that. In all honesty, I don't know if this is my best positioning I put myself in, as I am just going to go for a Scald. I'm kind of forced into it at this point. He does go down to about half, which is, again, completely fine. But, this will obviously force him into another Recover turn, which is really good for me. It can give me a little bit of momentum here into a Mon that can put some pressure on his team and stuff like that. So I am going to pull the switch out of my Keldeo back out into my Tyranitar. I'm at a pretty healthy amount still. I'm still at half, so... After a few more Rock Switch-ins and maybe or if you went for Surf right here or something like that, we actually live the hit. We got our Aya Papa Berry back and we're pretty healthy. So I figured that was also really, really nice. As he is going to pull the switch out, I believe, go out right into a Steelix. The Steelix is proving to be a giant nuisance. I cannot stand this thing this game, as I do just go for a Crunch because I figured it's a safe play there. He does proc our Rocky Helmet. Again, this is fine. I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to sack off my Tyranitar. It doesn't have as much of a purpose in this game anymore. And if he overplays and goes for, a coverage move or a Toxic or something like that, Rocky Helmet actually does put us in range of our Aya Papa Berry, and we can live, a non-super effective hit and potentially knock him out the next turn or get some chip off or something like that. But he does make the smart play, just goes for an Earthquake. He had no reason not to. And he's going to knock out our Tyranitar. So this game is looking very, very tough for us at this point. We are down 6-4 in a very early game. Our Keldeo is also down pretty heavy too, but this gives me a free switch into my Naganadel, and what I'm going to do is just go straight for a Fire Blast. It's pretty no drawback. I don't think he can switch out and risk me Nasty Plotting, because at that point I probably just win the game. And right here, I'm going to get the speed boost. Now this is great because if I can get it to +2, I outspeed the Kingdra in the Rain, and I actually can potentially just win this game. As he's going to go out into the Scizor, which I found odd because of the fact that he just saw Fire Blast, but he's going to go for the Bullet Punch. Shows that he is banded, but it was actually in my favor to live a banded Bullet Punch from the range I was at. I believe it was like a 43% chance for him to knock out or something like that. I could be completely wrong, but we do live that hit on literally 1 HP. Naganadel coming through clutch was absolutely amazing, which is going to let me get a big hit on this Latias. We don't actually knock it out if he's max HP, as you're going to see, and he can knock us out with Psychic, but he actually goes for the Recover. Now, I was talking to him after the game, and he told me he completely forgot he had Rocks up, and he thought I'd want to save this thing, just because it's still a pretty good late game win con if I can get a speed boost versus something like Kingdra out of the Rain, or this if it's weakened. So we're actually going to be able to pick up a third kill with our Naganadel right here on the Mega Latias, which is absolutely amazing. So good for our team, in all honesty, as he's going to be forced out into the Blaziken. Now, I can't knock out the Blaziken in one hit, but I can get a huge chunk off, and if I crit, I hate to say it, but if I crit, I actually win the game right now. We're going to go for the Sludge Wave. We do not knock him out, and unfortunately, he's not like minus Spidef or anything like that, so he's going to go for the Flare Blitz, and he is going to knock out our Naganadel, which is unfortunate, but it put in a ton of work. It did what it was supposed to. He's going to get a speed boost right here. This is completely fine. I'm going to go into my Keldeo, and this was a really dumb play. I had absolutely no reason to go into Keldeo. I was a little tilted, you know, how I was playing the early game, and I was kind of in my head a little bit. And in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, he goes for the Flare Blitz and I knock him out, and nothing else wants to switch into a Keldeo. I can just go for a Toxic if he wants to go into Kingdra. If he wants to go into Pelipper, I can knock him out with Scald the next turn or something like that. Completely disregarding that it's also a fighting type. So this was a garbage play by me. It was a really, really bad play. I don't know why I made it. I guess it's just heat of the moment type stuff. But he is going to go for the high jump kick. He's going to land it. I'm just basically going to give out my Keldeo right here. It's just like versus Dia when I sent out my Deoxys attack on a Darkrai right there. But unfortunately, Keld's going to go down. That's fine. I go into the Mon that I should have gone into before. The Mon that actually claims the kill at this point, which is going to be Gramble in his last appearance on our team. He's just going to go for a Flare Blitz. This is completely fine. What I could have done is gone Gramble and then thrown off a Heal Bell for our Keldeo, which would have been really nice, potentially, knowing that he'd knock himself out to Recoil. But down goes the Blaziken. This is still really, really nice, though. He's going to send out his Pelipper, which is completely fine. He goes down to about half after burn. He'll be at around half as he procs his Drizzle, and I do die to an offensive Scald from this thing, but I don't really have a switch in otherwise. However, my end game is in sight. He is going to knock out my Gramble, but what I'm thinking right here is I go into my Jirachi, and I can actually potentially stall out this rain. I didn't want to click Protect on this turn, in case he clicked Roost, and you know, got back up to a range where 2 Zen Headbutts didn't knock him out. But I'm going to go for the Zen Headbutt here. I'm actually going to get the flinch, which is great. Just, I mean, it is like statistically likely with Rachi. Unfortunately, I get the flinch, but Burn's going to take him out. And right here, I'm thinking I'm in a pretty good position to win this game, actually. So at this point, he has 3 turns of rain left. This first turn, I'm just going to go for a Protect. It stalls a turn of rain. It lets me see what move he wants to potentially lock into, what set he is. I don't expect him to be Dragon Ace this matchup, and if he is, well, good game. I lost to that anyways. But I'm going to go for the Protect, and this turn, I'm going to go for the Wish. So he's going to go for the Hydro Pump. Let's go back a little bit, because it's a weird shot. I'm going to go for the Wish right here because of the fact that I know that I live any non-Specs hit. If he is not Specs Kingdra, I live the hit, I Wish, I Protect back up, and then once we get outside of the range after the turn in which I Protect, I actually live a hit from there too. I outspeed Kingdra because that's what I sped crept on this Rachi, and then we can potentially win the game with 2 Zen Headbutts, provided we hit them. So I figure my my endgame is pretty solid here, as he is going to just go for another Hydro Pump here. And I talked to him after the game. He was not Specs. He was a modest Life Orb set you're going to see in a second. He goes for the Hydro Pump, and you're going to see he crits us, and this loses us the game. This is really unfortunate. I'm pretty sure we could have won, especially being that he was Life Orb. He was definitely in range of 2 Zen Headbutts. It's Mons. There's not much you can do. I was pretty tilted after the game, but again, it's not Kohan's fault. He was playing to his win cons. Hydro Pump was obviously the strongest move to hit me, but we definitely could have lived a Hydro Pump in the rain. After wishing back up and getting a couple turns of lefties, we would have been able to live the one out of the rain, and then been able to Zen Headbutt him twice and win the game. But unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. We're going to drop this week 1-0. I'm not too mad. Also, I'm pretty disappointed in myself. If anything, I think I played this game very, very sloppy. I was getting pretty burnt out and frustrated with this team that we had. It just wasn't a very good team. We had a lot of really fun mons, but the team itself was pretty bad. But like I said in the beginning of the video, we made a bunch of transactions. We dropped 4 out of the 6 mons on this team, and then we dropped 3 other ones actually. So we're gonna have 7 new Pokemon on our team starting next week. I'll probably make a video that'll go up in the middle of the week about my transactions. If not, I'll talk about it in next week's Team Builder when Team Builders do come back as we play mid Pokemaster and his Kentucky Torcats, and he has a Mega Mewtwo X, which is very, very terrifying. If we were playing with this team that we had now, it would be an auto lose on matchup, but being that we have a much new team with, I think, a lot better defensive checks to mons and stuff like that, a lot better pivots, and mons that can take on offensive fighting types, maybe not Mewtwo X, but other ones. Other than that, I think we definitely have a good shot to beat them, so we'll see next week when it gets to that time. But yeah, GG's to Kohan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff so you can catch our games as they go up every week. And I'm going to get out of here. Later.